The 15th century church of St Helen here in Ashby has many interesting things inside it, such as an alabaster tomb of Francis and Catherine Hastings, an effigy of an unknown pilgrim, and a rare finger pillory. But today I really wanted to highlight some things about the church that people don't often know. One is its unusual orientation, and the other is a rare timepiece on the bell tower. So today I'm here with Julie Starkey, who has been researching the history of the church for many years, and I'm hoping that she can tell us more. Good morning.
Good morning, Linda.
I was once involved in an archaeological investigation here that was looking inside the church, and one of the things they discovered was its unusual orientation. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit more about why they thought that was.
Well, most early Christian churches are on a due east orientation, but St Helens, as you've said, is unusual. St Helens does not face due east. It's at an angle of 63 degrees. So what the archaeologists looked at was the years in which the sun rose at 63 degrees on Easter Day. And I've got the archaeologists' report in front of me here. To our knowledge, St Helens was built by William Lord Hastings in around 1470, but it's possible that he built the present church on the site of an earlier church. Now, the dates the archaeologists came up with for possible building of the church were 1318, 1329, 1356, 1375 or 1386. Then they looked again at the 15th century, when the work of William Hastings was known to have taken place, and they came up with 1470 and 1486, which are all dates close to what we know to be the construction of the church we largely see here today.
Thanks, Julie, that was really interesting. So can we go around now and have a look at the bell tower and look at this really fabulous timepiece that you've got on there?
Of course.
Wow. Do you know, I'm a real lover of sundials. I look for them everywhere, but I can't say I've ever seen one that's like that before. So please tell me more about it.
Do you know, Linda, I don't think I've ever seen one like that before. I've seen different types of sundials on towers, but never one quite like this. So it's an unusual type of sundial as well. The gnomon on this sundial, the metal bit, doesn't point directly downwards. It is at an angle. It's known as a declining vertical sundial. It goes back to what we said earlier about the unusual alignment of the church at 63 degrees. Now, the knowledge to create a sundial of this type, a declining vertical sundial, was only known in Europe from about 1450. Now, William Lord Hastings, who raised the tower, we think in the 1470s, was one of the most powerful men of his age. He was the king's right-hand man. He was Lord Chamberlain to King Edward IV. He was a wealthy man, he would have been well read, and he would have been well travelled. So it's likely that he would have been aware of the best craftsmen of his age. And he brought somebody to Ashby who had the knowledge to create this declining vertical sundial that we have here. You can tell that the sundial was put onto the tower at the time the tower was raised in the 1470s. If you look at the stonework below it, there's a lot of weathering on the stonework, and there are some later repairs. Those red pantiles that are on there are much later repairs. But if you look directly beneath the Roman numerals for 12, you can see two stone blocks there in the tower that are raised several centimetres from the tower. And they would probably have gone right round the circumference of the sundial at the time it was constructed. But that is our clue that tells us that that sundial was put on the tower in the 1470s.
I think one of the things I find that's really different about it is that it has very few numbers on it. And most interesting is that the 12 is at the bottom. So also, does it actually work, well, when the sun's out? Can you still tell the time by it?
Yes, you can still tell the time by it very accurately indeed, as long as we're on Greenwich Mean Time. If we're on British Summer Time, you have to allow that hour. You'll notice that the lines and the numerals aren't at regular intervals either, and that is just to allow for the way the sun hits the gnomon, and therefore the shadow hits the lines and the numbers. But yes, it's very, very accurate within about 15 minutes. And of course, it would have been very useful at the time that it was built, because at the same time as William Hastings was raising the tower and building the church here, he was doing a lot of work on the castle, which is about 100 metres behind us that way. And his main sitting room in the castle, his solar, would have looked directly at the sundial, so anybody sitting in there on a sunny day would have been able to tell the time.
I'm sure you'll agree that there's just so much hidden heritage around us, isn't there?
There is.
And sometimes, you know, we have busy lives. It's easy to just walk by old buildings without actually stopping and just having a look. And for places like this, you know, they often have volunteers who are full of knowledge, guidebooks, there are websites you can look at. But I think the main thing is to just stop occasionally and just look around and see what's around us. And you find beautiful things like, you know, such an amazing sundial. And then interesting things like an orientation of a church. You know, who knew just by walking by? Indeed.